What the hell did I just watch? Hollow. That wasn't me saying hi, that was me saying hollow. Hollow is what I watched. The Hollow, to be exact. Hey guys, it is TJSMEI, your local lunatic, your local astrolatter. And, I just watched a show in 4 hours. The Hollow is a new, well, let's be honest, it's probably not new by the time you're watching this, because I have a fangirl video that I'm supposed to be done editing, but, that was filmed like 2 months ago, so, when you see this, it's probably been weeks since The Hollow came out, and a lot of people have probably already seen it. But anyways, The Hollow is a new animated series on Netflix that is 10 episodes long. It's by Netflix, and here's my review. I'm going to start off by explaining the show without spoilers so that anyone can freely watch it. Do I suggest watching it? Yes. Do I suggest watching it going in thinking that you're going to be a fangirl coming out and waiting for the second season? No. But it was a good show. It was a great premise. So basically how it starts out is these 3 teenagers wake up in a room and are like, where the crap are we? And through an assortment of kind of puzzles, they escape and find that each of them are unique in their own way. There are 2 boys and 1 girl, and their names are Adam, Kai, and Mira. But the twist is that they have no recollection of their past. Not a single bit. They have no idea who they are, what their names are, until they find out from a slip in their pocket. And when they get out of this room, they find a world. This vast, like, forest world, and it's really mysterious, and, you know, it's strange, and right off the bat, you have so many questions just that appear. As the story progresses, you meet multiple characters that help out our 3 protagonists, in different ways, sometimes not always good ways, but it's very strange and almost menacing. I don't suggest it as a family show too much. I would say it's for maybe ages 8 and up. I don't know. I mean, hey, I watched my first PG-13 show when I was like 5, so I'm not one to talk. Anyways, today I'm going to be reviewing and explaining how I interpret the show. If you want to watch the show with fresh eyes, new look, you know, everything new experience, then I would stop now. Just letting you know that it is a good show, and it's got some really good, deep elements. It's kind of like shows that used to be on Nick, such as Danny Phantom and Avatar: The Last Airbender. But it's short, so don't expect for things to continue. Eventually, all your questions are mainly answered, except for the ones that I'm going to be going over in this video. Alright, bye. For those of you who are okay with knowing a little bit of spoilers, you can stay for a little bit, but I don't suggest it because things are going to slip out of my mouth and I'm not going to mean to say them. We're not going to get to the big plot twist storylines until later on in this video. That being said, it's an experience. Each episode you get a new question, at least one, that you ask yourself over and over again until you forget. Now, the problem with that is that I feel like there were a lot of questions that were not noticed, and if that's the case, I will be doing a second recording after I maybe rewatch the show. I don't know, but there's probably a bunch of things that I missed because I've only watched it once and just ended it like 20 minutes ago. Honestly, the very beginning reminded me of Saw. It just did. You know, a few strangers in a room, and there's puzzles that they have to solve, but they don't know each other and they don't remember a lot, and I think it was just such a really cool element, and it kind of brought in a little bit of horror vibes, but it wasn't necessarily scary. It was just kind of eerie and somber. That's better. as I was saying, if you're gonna have a 10-episode arc with not really a chance of returning and a second part, you might want to leave some things out. Now, I'm a sucker for romance. I will always be a sucker for romance. I love romance in shows and movies and literally anything where romance should not be, because I love romance, because I want one. But it felt forced here. There was this really weird love triangle. Of course, who else between the three protagonists along with some other girl who comes along later, and it wasn't favorable. What I did like is that they didn't make it all about the romance. They didn't have whole entire episodes where the characters are like, oh, but I love you. That didn't happen, and I'm glad for that because I can't stand when that happens. But they did, it felt out of place. Especially when they didn't conclude with anything. They really didn't resolve anyone's feelings, and that's just not very good storytelling on my opinionated side. While watching this, I couldn't help but think to a certain ship and a certain show that I love, which is Young Justice and Spitfire. Mira really reminded me of Artemis, except for less stubborn, but the voice actors sounded similar. I know they're not the same at all, but she did remind me of her in the fact that calculated, smart, keeps her cool, doesn't freak out too often, but is sweet. And a little bit sassy. And the boy, one of the boys, not the main character, the secondary character, whose name is Kai, kind of dumb, but actually also really smart, but also really dumb and flirtatious and head over heels over people all the time. That reminded, it really reminded me of those two characters. If we're gonna continue to relate that to Young Justice, Adam wasn't really anyone. I guess a mix between Robin and Superboy because he was the brute strength, but he was also kind of the leader and logical. But in general terms of Young Justice, it really, really reminded me of that one episode where they're deserted. I think it's called Deserted, I don't know. They're in a desert and they've lost the past 6 months of their memory, because it was just kind of like, I don't know who we are. But we gotta get out of here. So, like, where are we? What's going on? We should rely on each other. Maybe not fall in love, but still rely on each other. And it was a really good element. It was a really good theme. And I really liked how specific it was, where they constantly brought up, again, that they don't know anything about their previous lives. They brought up the fact that it's like, hey, I just want to go home. And they're like, wait, but what is home? I don't know. And how they knew that it was there in their mind, but they didn't know what it was from. So that was really cool. Whereas I love Spitfire, I did not like Mira and Kai. I just didn't. It wasn't structured enough. She didn't keep him in control. She didn't have that same spark of, oh my god. It was more of just, okay, cool, I care about you. I thought there was a lot of really good character development over those 10 episodes. You know, Kai, I still don't like, I didn't like, but he went from not caring about anyone but himself to actually relying and depending on these two other people. I won't deny that I was attracted to Adam's character, but he just seemed so overpowered, so macho, and it didn't feel right. And then Mira was fantastic, and that might be me because I'm biased about that. She's a girl, but there was also so many things that they could have done with her, but also stuff that didn't make any sense with their powers, and especially hers with the underwater stuff. I don't know. Anyways, back to the romance. So, Kai had a crush on Mira. Mira had a crush on Adam. Adam was Adam. Kai had his tiny little crush on Mira, and they mentioned it for like an episode, and then he was gonna confess his feelings to her, and then it didn't happen, and then like literally an episode later, he falls in love with the other girl, and you can tell that she and her gang are evil and bleh. But I wasn't expecting for Kai to not have feelings for Mira anymore, or that she didn't get jealous, because that's usually what happens. Instead, even though I had biasedly shipped Mira and Adam from the very beginning, she liked him, and they had one moment, and that's it. And it was really weird. I think really all this comes down to I would have been great and fine with the show if the ending had more resolution. And I don't know where we're gonna get that resolution at all. Nowhere. Weirdy, whatever you want to call him. He was an interesting character, and for the longest time, I actually thought that Adam was Weirdy. Now, I paused multiple times just to compare their faces, and their faces weren't the same at all, but his hair was very similar, and so that's what I was thinking. I was thinking maybe they're the same person, and Adam becomes this Weirdy dude, and then brings the rest of them through time travel into the world. Didn't happen. What got me really confused was there's a part where Mira and Adam get like stuck and separated from Kai, and there's an old guy that they come across, and he can sense their powers or whatever, so he senses hers and then he senses his, and he's like, oh, it's better if you don't know, and it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I thought maybe he was an OP, someone who had control over the world, kind of like Kirito in SAO and Alfheim part, where he like all of a sudden was the game master or something, but no, that it didn't make any sense why he said that at all, and it just didn't. A lot of the characters did not need to be as menacing as they were, like the Benjamini, when they talked about like see you again later, and then they snicker. They wouldn't know that they would see them again later because the video game doesn't have it set for them to go there near the end, even though they did. And there's just so many weird elements to it. I haven't personally analyzed the symbolism myself, but I do think that there is some in there, especially with the Four Horsemen. But I couldn't care less. It felt more like a D&D quest than a video game, if that makes any sense. Just kind of like the way that they interacted with the characters, and how the other team wouldn't have been able to do certain things that this team could because of power differences, such as Mira being able to talk to people that aren't people. Yeah, so it was just kind of weird. And now I'm going to talk about the ultimate ending. So if you were okay with spoilers but don't want to hear the final spoiler, bye. Okay, bye. The ending. Turns out that Weirdy is a game show host, and the game that they're in is The Hollow, and it's actually real life people who are animated into this game through advanced technology. But it concluded really weirdly, really weirdly. They came into the game, our team won, the other team lost, but then there was a glitch in the girl's eye, which didn't make any sense to me at all. Like, are they still in a game? Is it like Inception, where they're in layers of a game? Which didn't make any sense because it just wouldn't work. The voice actors are different than the actors that portrayed the kids, and it was really, really weird. And then it cuts to 5 hours earlier. It's the guy explaining the rules of the game, and then he's like, okay, now time to choose your powers. But what didn't make sense is that there weren't any limits on those powers. Like, 2 people could probably choose the same powers, and I don't know. And then it just shows them going into the game. But where's the closure? What about the things that we don't know about yet? Why was the game collapsing? Or what about the love story? If you're gonna put a romance in there, you might as well resolve it. I feel like what they should have done is that they should have added an extra 5 minutes, and had it been long enough, they could have had the team, and we could see their connection. We could see if they know each other previously, or they just found out about each other and they were thrown into a world, and if they were ever going to talk about, hey, yeah, so like I kissed you back in the game, or something like that. A lot of things were out of place. The map was cool. The map was definitely cool, but where's the spaceship on the map, and why is there even a spaceship? And, you know, where does this prior knowledge of fixing ships come from, and is that even allowed? Like, it didn't make any sense to me. There's so many questions that we don't know. In the end, The Hollow gave me more questions than it gave me answers. I would have loved to see a second season. I would have loved for it to be more like, you know, Infinity Train. I think that's what it's called? I don't know, it's coming anyways. Where that wasn't the only world, that there was more, that there was just one level that they had passed. Or would have, like, maybe even if it ended in Ultimate Winner of the Hollow, now it's time to go on to the next round where you guys will compete. But they really, with the ending they gave, they really locked the show from having another season, any more seasons. So even if this is a critically acclaimed show, even if it's amazing, there's really no way they can give us a continuation of it without doing something weird, like they go back into the game and they're like, oh no, blah, blah, blah. Like it would feel like a spin-off series rather than a continuation, if that makes any sense whatsoever. So yeah, that was my opinions on The Hollow. And if I happen to rewatch it before I post this video, I will add in more clips. I will talk more about it, but for now, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you later.